Another memory Judy had was hearing someone call her name from the backyard. She went to the bedroom window and looked out, and suddenly found herself on a table being examined. These particular beings had blue eyes, kind of sunken in, but not bad, she said. They looked at her feet and at the mole on her chest. She was not afraid. Around her, she saw what she now recognizes as computers. This was in the early 60s before she had seen a computer. On another day, we were all in the backyard when Judy heard someone calling her from the field behind our yard. She felt they wanted her to go to them, but Roy was adamant that she not. It seems we had missing time at this point because nobody could remember what happened next. Hearing someone call your name seems to be a common theme for abductees. Growing up, as mentioned, our closely mowed backyard lay at the edge of an overgrown field. Naturally, this provided us children with daring adventure. We had yielded a branching trail that reached 20 feet out. Who knew what we might find out there? Maybe some baby rabbits or old dinosaur eggs. Company was over this day. They had brought their 3 children. We seasoned explorers were eager to take them on a guided tour. We inched our young frightened guests out into the unknown. Suddenly there was a shrilled scream, followed by, "Monster! Monster!" This put us handful of kids in motion back toward the safety of our mown lawn. That's when I saw everyone freeze like a paused video. This is a very strange phenomenon. If a person were frozen literally for hours while holding 100 pounds over their head and in mid-sentence, they would not feel muscle fatigue nor miss a beat when reanimated. I found myself on a table against a wall aboard a small spaceship. Roy was across the room on another table. As I am laying there, one of 2 beings opened my mouth, inserted a soft object to the far back of my throat, and made me swallow. Next, I am back on the trail, whereupon everyone unfreezes, and I take off with the squealing herd. As we run for the border, I feel something soft and warm traveling up my esophagus. I could feel it in my chest. I halt and someone bumps into me. One of the other kids scolded the Screamer for scaring us about monsters when there was no such thing. Screamer insisted that he did too see a monster, and with precision pointing declared, "It was right there." Then, somewhat more perplexed, added, "It was gray." I suddenly felt something soft and round in the back of my throat. I leaned over and let it fall out to the ground. The object is fleshy and with veins. Worried that this might be a vital internal organ, I ran into the house where my grandmother was at the kitchen sink. I tell her what happened and watch her for any concern. She dismisses it as probably a piece of chicken. I told her that it didn't look like chicken and hadn't been chewed up, but that it had veins in it. This got her attention, and telling me to stay there, she went outside to look. When she returned, she said it had ants on it and not to worry about it. She went back to what she was doing at the sink. Seeing that she wasn't concerned, I ran back out of the house to play. Likely the visiting aliens were still nearby, observing the aftermath of their intervention, and saw my grandmother investigating. They would have listened in to her thoughts, and if needed, given her the telepathic impression that everything was okay and to leave the subject alone. On another day, we were in the front yard playing Ring Around the Rosie, Pocket Full of Posy, Ashes, Ashes, We All Fall Down. We would fall to the ground squealing and laughing, all sprawled out, pretending we were dead. Then we would jump up and hand in hand do it all again. The beings were watching us from above. They loved to watch children at play, but our game disturbed them. They asked me telepathically if I knew what our game meant. I couldn't answer because I didn't know. Then I was told that we should stop playing it. It seemed to meet their disapproval. I looked over at sickly Judy lying dead on the ground and had her get up. "We shouldn't play this. We shouldn't be pretending we're dead. It's not good to pretend to be dead. That's bad," I said. The others tended to listen to me, so we went on to play something else. When you begin your life having telepathic communication, it doesn't seem abnormal at all. There is always this sense of being watched, but not in a paranoid way. It's just a given. You know that everything you think, say, and do is being observed. It keeps you on your best behavior. Some people attribute this sense of being observed to God or maybe angels, but literally, to a very large degree, everything an abductee does is known. There have been times where I give them my opinion of situations or people or ask them their opinion. At times I have sought their approval or permission. I have done it long before I consciously realized their existence in my life. I was 37 before I learned that this game came out of a European epidemic of chicken pox. The ring around the rosy describes the red circle around the blister pox. People during these ages believed that to put ashes on the pox and carry posies in their pocket was a cure or protection. The "we all fall down" verse represented the many people who died. Since we did not have a mother to see to our attire, we were frequently the recipients of used clothing. We had a new batch in, and I began wearing some. One day after school, I came straight into the house and gathered my clothes in a dazed-like fashion. The next thing I am even remotely aware of is that I have set down my pile of clothes in the backyard. As I stand looking at the pile, I tell the beings in my mind that I don't have any way to light them. They wonder what I could use, and I suggest matches, not knowing if we even had any. I am sent back into the house and conveniently return with matches. They can retrieve and plant needed objects. They can even borrow needed things from other people and return them later. After assuring that the clothes were far enough away from the house, I am told to light them. They catch fire to satisfaction, and I am made to move away. I then go back into the house as if nothing had happened. My crime was discovered many days later. My dad and a very worried grandmother with my sister in tow corralled me in the hall, accusing me of burning my clothes. "What?" "No, I didn't," I countered. But my sister insisted I did. How could I have done such a thing and not remember it? But wait a minute. I vaguely remember it. What was wrong with me? How could she remember it so definitely when I, the perpetrator, could not? It called serious questions to my sanity. Grandmother shook her head in pity. She must be like poor Aunt Rosie. Dad hissed at her. "Hush! Don't say that." Who was Aunt Rosie, I wondered. Grandmother used a delicate tone she had not hitherto used with me. "Now tell me, dear, why did you burn your clothes? Were you afraid there were germs in them?" That sounded like a plausible reason. Maybe I should go with that. This caused poor Grandma to give an audible gasp, again to Dad's great consternation. But how was I to know why, when I couldn't clearly remember doing it? I could see myself doing it, but somehow my mind wasn't fully functioning. It bewildered me. Was I not normal? My sister, still acting in the opposition's defense, offered that maybe I thought they were ugly. I was ready to confess to whatever would please them. My accusers now seemed more concerned with my motive than with my action. Believing that I had burned them because they were ugly placated them. It was better than believing I acted out of fear of imaginary germs. So much so that no punishment was handed down. I was free to go. Maybe my grandmother was right. Maybe the clothes did harbor a contagious disease in which these beings deemed that for my health needed to be eradicated. The tried and true way would be to burn the clothes. I can think of no other reason to have me carry out such a bizarre act. Was this the reason fire destroyed London in the Dark Ages just after the deadly plagues? Did some poor soul under alien control start those fires too? Up until this point, it might sound like the aliens are caring, but things would change as time went on. Being an abductee is certainly a mixed bag of the good and bad. There is a lot of fear during an abduction. That is something that can't be denied.